Hey friends, it's Miss Johnson. Hope everybody's doing good. Today, I want to talk to you about something that we call repetition. Repetition is a kind of literary language that repeats the same words or phrases to focus on an idea or feeling and to create a kind of rhythm. Now, we see a lot of repetition in songs that we hear. We hear a lot of repetition in stories and poetry. And here I have an example for you of repetition in a poem that's titled The Last Day. Now, as I'm reading this, I want you to first notice what is being repeated. What phrase is being repeated, and why do you think the poet chose to use repetition in this poem? So it's called The Last Day. I'm a little bit excited. I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit glad. I'm a little bit older. It's the end of the year. I'll miss this class. I'm glad I was here. Okay, so what is being repeated here is I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit. And why I think this poet chose to repeat I'm a little bit, because it kind of focuses in on how many feelings we have at the end of the year. We're happy, but we're sad to leave our friends. We're excited for summer, but kind of nervous about the next year ahead. And so I think this use of repetition, again, I think it focuses in on how many feelings we have on the last day of school at the end of the year. So that's just one example in a poem. And to give you another example, I want to read you a story that uses repetition. And the story is called Sometimes Rain. So I'm going to read I'm going to read the first page, and I want you to try and guess, what do you think is being repeated here? Sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it snows, sometimes spring winds blow and blow. But any time of year is the right time for adventures outside in our beautiful, beautiful world. Okay, so as I'm reading this, I want you to notice what is being repeated and what do you think the author is doing with the repetition. Why do you think the author is choosing to repeat the words that she repeats? Okay, so the name of the story, Sometimes Rain. The author is Meg Fleming, and it's illustrated by Deanna Setka. Sometimes drizzle, drip, drip, rain. Sometimes picnic, sometimes rain. Sometimes dropping, steady chill. Sometimes frosting every hill. Sometimes sledding, frozen toes. Sometimes carrot, sometimes nose. Okay, so I want you to stop for a second and think, what is being repeated here? What do you think? All right, if you have not guessed already, the word sometimes is what's being repeated. Okay, so for now going on, I want you to think, why do you think the author chose to repeat the word sometimes? What do you think the author wants you to focus on, whether it's an idea or a feeling? What do you think the author is focusing in on by using repetition for the word sometimes. All right, let's keep going. Sometimes twinkle, winter white, crystal garden, silver night. Sometimes boring, wonder, wait. Sometimes early, sometimes late. Sometimes clear, bright and glowing. So much melt, the mud is growing. Sometimes flying, magic swing, blooming treehouse, happy spring. Sometimes dreaming, open skies, sometimes chasing butterflies. Sometimes blazing secret trails, sometimes finding frogs and snails. Sometimes splashing yellow sun, sometimes soaking summer fun. Sometimes changing vibrant trees, sometimes zipping out the breeze. Sometimes stomping leafy crunch, sometimes eating apple lunch. Sometimes piles 10 feet tall, sometimes jumping into fall. Sometimes wandering far or near, always knowing someone here. Always ready, stay or roam, always welcome, always home. The end. So, friends, what did you think? Why do you think the author chose to repeat sometimes? So I'm interested in hearing what you think, but I think by repeating sometimes, the author is focusing in on how much things change throughout the year. Sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's snowing, and sometimes it's beautiful outside. So, friends, I hope you enjoyed this story. So, follow the directions on the Seesaw assignment, and I look forward to hearing how you can use repetition. All right, bye, friends.